Liberal podcasters. Well, typically when you think of them, the only people that, generally speaking, come up in your brain are what? Pod Save Bros, and I think Midas Touch is also, like, liberal, centrist, maybe. I guess there's also Ezra Klein now, but, like, a fucking Abunda agenda. But, I suppose given the cultural zeitgeist, culture war being waged within the Democratic Party over Israel-Palestine, because we'll pull up the fucking statistics. Democrats' approval of Israel. It's not good, folks. It's back at the 26th of February. 33% of Democrats have a favorable view of Israel. That's not good, folks. It's pretty low. Let me tell you. Very, very bad. People are not big fans of Israel, right? There's another one here, and this is more recent. June 12th. This article comes out here. 12% of Democratic voters sympathize with the Israelis. More with the Israelis than Palestinians. 12%, man. Woof. That's rough, dude. Damn. Who would have thought that a lot of people fucking hate Israel? Now, obviously, I couldn't think of... Now, Boy Meets Mini, could you think of any particular reasonings for as to why people might be not big fans of what's of Israel? I couldn't think of anything. I'll be quite honest. I can't think of much. Who knows? Yeah, some war crimes or something going on. What can you do? What can you say? Some war crimes, some idiotic nonsense, some bullshit. Yeah, who knows what the fuck's going on? But yeah, there's still a siege going on in Gaza. Children are getting starved. Emaciated Palestinians who are trying to get some kind of aid through that dumbass aid honeypot called the Gaza Humanitarian Fund get constantly shot and killed constantly. So, that's cool. That's really great. So those are the things that Israel is up to. But the Democratic Party, when people are like coming out and saying like, so the Democrats are kind of like epic big cringe, and it's just like true and real and based, saying that because of the actions that are being taken by the Israelis, specifically within Gaza, and the genocide that is being carried out, yada, 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 tomato, tomato, potato, potato, all that good stuff. It's starting to get to, I don't want to say, like, mainstream sources. I don't want to say that, but, like, pretty big sources. Like, we have the I've Had It podcast, and even fucking Pod Save America. These are some some of the biggest liberal podcasters out there, and now they're starting to have problems with fucking Israel. Like, for example, the I've Had It podcast. Why New York Dems who are bought and paid for by AIPAC won't endorse Zoran Mamdani. 100% correct, it's the donors. True. Yeah, the libs are starting to fucking get it, dude. It's bad when the libs are getting it. We all remember, like, the dumbass images of, like, those, within the DNC of people, like, laughing at the Palestinian activists saying, like, please bring that one, I think it was I forget her name, because I'm really bad with names. That one, Palestinian American, the one Palestinian American Democrat who's I think within the state legislature of Georgia. I don't remember her name, but she's a Palestinian American. She's in Georgia. She is a part of the state legislature. She's like a House member within the Georgia State House, representative or something like that. And she wanted to give a speech at the DNC and asked if she could give a speech at the DNC, and like she just got snubbed. And like all the like stupid little Dem insiders was just like laughing about it. Rura Roman. Thank you, Boy Meets Mini. You know how terrible I am with names. I always forget names. They just like snubbed her and didn't let her speak. And we saw her speech. It was pretty banal, not very radical, to be honest. It was a good speech. Don't get it twisted. Good speech, solid speech, can't complain, obviously. Contents of it, great, fantastic, very good. Nothing, none of it. And we all know why at this point, right? Like, we've done the retrospective on the fucking Kamala Harris campaign, and it's because of Joe fucking Biden, okay? Like, we can talk about the sort of problems of what Kamala, because I don't 100% blame Kamala Harris for the loss of the Democrats within 2024. Her not separating herself from fucking Joe Biden obviously was a huge factor, but the problem is how could she, for example, right? She had to implement a lot of the Biden campaign's infrastructure that was provided by the fucking DNC into her campaign. Being able to put together all that infrastructure within such a short time frame would have been a huge problem. Now, I'm not sure in terms of like if that shit would have been easily transferred over to a bunch of Kamala people. I don't know if Kamala even had a bunch of people at that point in time in order to be able to take stations within those campaign offices for her campaign. And it was too short of a fucking time frame, so she had to let in a bunch of the Biden fucking people in, and the Biden fucking consultants and all that stuff. And, well, we all know what happened to her campaign as a result. She wasn't able to separate herself from the hip, lest she have complete internal campaign fucking chaos. Because I've said this before the DNC happened, she was running a pretty solid campaign. She had solid proposals, like that fucking ban on corporate price gouging. 10 out of 10 fucking policy. That's some good fucking shit, right? And then the Biden consultants came in, stopped basically all the weird propaganda that was going around, just calling Republicans weird, which is true. They are just a bunch of fucking weirdos, which would have been very, very effective propaganda against the Republicans. And the price gouging stuff also went out the window, and it became like just a dead husk of a campaign that was more or less doomed to fail. But we can relitigate the retrospective of the Kamala Harris campaign for all eternity. We can also talk about the investigation of Greg Palast, of how I think it was like about 2.6 million voters were either kicked off the voter rolls or systemically disenfranchised within swing states. Blah, 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 blah. We know the Republicans have to cheat in order to be able to win. Yada, yada, yada. But we have someone here who actually is bringing a new direction to the party, and that's Zohran Mamdani. And obviously, the Democrats, since, well, unlike the Republicans, they hate their base, they hate them with a burning passion, are, well, deciding to try to snub them yet again by going ahead with, well, we care more about AIPAC and fucking Israel support instead of a dude who would be able to fucking save our decrepit, dying party with our decrepit, dying ideology. But let's see. What's this lady of the I've Had It podcast? What does she have to say?
By us. And if your kids in Israel want to go to a higher education, guess what? They don't have to go in debt because it's subsidized by us, by these politicians. Let's do roll call. Let's put them up. Let's call them out. Let's go. New York Democrats who haven't endorsed Mamdani and their...
She's correct, by the way. Yeah, if you want to get subsidized housing in the West Bank, you are a Jew who moves to Israel, you get like pretty much subsidized housing, subsidized education, subsidized fucking food programs and stuff like that. Obviously, none of that's probably available for the Middle Eastern Jews. Subsidized stuff for them. I don't know. Those guys are a little too brown. But if you're a Ashkenazi Jew, no problem. Fuck it. Who cares? Like, you want all that stuff? It pretty much lays threadbare the sort of nature of how, like, Israel is just a fucking colonial project. Like, quite simply. But, let's make fun of more New York Democrats.
AIPAC bag. Let's go. Representative Laura Gillen, $94,905.
What, representative of what? New York's 4th district? Listen, our boy Steamboat, Art, okay? Running for that seat. You should fucking support him, Very, very cool, very base dude, very cool, very fantastic. Get rid of that dumbass do-nothing Democrat named Laura Gillen. That cringe soy chugging moron.
Representative Adriano Espialat, I'm butchering his last name, $202,000.
I believe he endorsed Zoran Mamdani not that long after, I think, right? Like, after this clip fucking dropped, I believe he endorsed Zoran Mamdani, which is really... Which should show you that people power and pressure, it works still. And that's why people say, like, you should fucking do it, right? Like, because... Fuck these people, right? Like, they're not going to be able to stand up to the pressure that people bring on them. Because, again, they're incredibly, like, fragile fucking losers. Like, they're not going to be able to stand up to it for very long.
Representative Tom Swazi, $312,000. Representative Dan Goldman, $366,000.
Mm-hmm.
Representative Gregory Meeks, $690,000.
Got a lot of money.
Representative Grace Ming, $619,000. Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, almost $1 million, coming in at $997,000.
Oh, we're not even close to the fucking top end, right? And this is the same dumbass who decided to gin up that stupid conspiracy theory about, like, no, globalize the Intifada is a terrorist signal that's harmful against Jewish people. Yeah. When, like, Zoran Mamdani, what he was talking about at the, I think it's the Bulwark podcast, I believe, which is, like, a local New York thing, I think, with, like, a bunch of center-right hosts. And what he was talking about is the term Intifada, how it's, like, twisted and very often misappropriated to mean, like, other things. It's like, it's basically, like, classic 2003, like, Iraq war tier, like, era, like, Islamophobia bullshit, where it's, like, gotta twist all those fucking words in order to, I don't know, mean things that they actually don't. Where I think Zoran Mamdani was saying, like, oh, this is the, what it says about the Warsaw Ghetto uprising. Because the term uprising, translated to Arabic, is Intifada. Crazy. And Zoran Mamdani was talking about that fucking term. Oh, whoa. Whoa, crazy.
And I will remind you that she engaged in Islamophobic attacks on this mayoral candidate and didn't defend Islamophobia.
She's mentioning
yet
it.
Is so quick to call out anybody as being anti-Semitic. And that's the thing in this, is that we can speak out against the provocations and the war crimes of the Israeli government.
Being racist in my chat.
And they don't get to hold us hostage and tell us we're anti-Semitic. That's bullshit, and don't fall into that trap.
She is so real for saying this. Holy shit, dude. Dude, when the libs are saying the exact same fucking goddamn talking points as the fucking lefties, you know that the fucking Democratic Party is going to be fucking cooked. I've said this before, but if you're a Democratic fucking candidate and you are pro-Israel, done. You're cooked. It's over. Literally, only 12% of Democratic voters sympathize more with the Israelis than the Palestinians. And that's from a Quinnipiac poll, which is fucking crazy. Meanwhile, 60%, that's a super majority of fucking Democratic voters, support the Palestinians. 60%! This is a now huge issue now for fucking goddamn establishment Democratic Party. Because again, you know, Israel was seen as the third rail, a very, very safe issue. It's crazy just how much that's changed within the sort of, like, confines of about... I want to say, like, I know that Harry Enton did his, like, whole Holy Toledo bit, talking about through the course of 8 years. I think the time frame has been way shorter than that. I would probably say, like, 2 to 3 years, just how much it's changed. The shift in the Overton window on this particular issue is astronomical. It is incredible just how much it has shifted from the favor of the Israeli sort of, like, I don't know, quote-unquote plight of, I don't know, getting attacked by Hamas or some shit, whatever nonsense, in comparison to just the absolute wretched, horrible, like, shit that the fucking goddamn Palestinians have had to go through for the past 80 years. And listen, like I've said before, ring, 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 hello, IDF, this is your lawyer speaking. You are doing a great, fantastic job constantly streaming and putting up short-form videos of all the fucking atrocities that you guys are committing in Gaza. Personally, as your lawyer, you should keep doing that. as much and as often as possible. It's going to do a great job in terms of ingratiating yourself to the, main state that, and people who live within that state that you need to appeal to in order to make sure that you are able to maintain your fucking existence. Not a strategic blunder whatsoever, Israel. Very, very cool.
Next up, Representative Richie Torres, $1.5 million.
This fucking gremlin.
Senator
Richie
Chuck
Torres.
Schumer, $1.7 million.
Hey Chuck, what happened to keeping the left pro-Israel? Not doing a good job at it, are ya?
Hakeem Jeffries, $1.7 million. Representative George Latimer, $19 million, almost 20.
We all know about George Latimer's case. He was the AIPAC stooge who was put up in order to, he's probably fucking cooked. Like Jamal Bowman, which I hope he's like campaigning literally everywhere possible and is just running on the issue of Israel-Palestine. It was just like, I don't know, kick George Latimer's fucking like racist, goofy ass, lazy, stupid, dumb fucking eye ass out, okay? That like literal fucking old-timey fucking racist. So, it's very, very cool. Yeah, George Connolly is dead. George Latimer looks like he's dead with his like dumbass little lazy eye. He can go fuck himself. Fuck George Latimer. This like stupid, dumb fucking pro-Israeli racist. Dude like literally trotted out old-timey racism to fucking describe Jamal Bowman. It's actually fucking crazy.
$1 million. Pumps, what do you think about all this?
Well, I think you can't serve two masters. You cannot take money from a group and then be completely neutral as to other members of different groups. And if you're going to take that much money from somebody, they're expecting you to further their interests. And I just want to pick...
Dude, it's so fucking funny how all the like media apparatchiks, broadly speaking, around the Democratic Party will often do the sort of dual loyalty trope, which is an anti-Semitic trope of like American Jews saying that they also have loyalty to Israel, but they'll do like the same fucking thing constantly, pledging their fucking fealty and loyalty to fucking Israel in order to make sure that they're able to win their fucking campaigns and stuff like that, and do that as much as possible. It's just like, yeah, man, you want to frame yourselves as being like, I don't know, based, like not as racist as the Republicans, yet you want to like stimp out for fucking Israel, which is like an attempted ethno-nationalist colonial project. Like, yeah, man, totally. Very, very cool.
Back off of something you said, because that Netanyahu is the smarter, more calculated Trump. Am I correct that prior to October 7th, Netanyahu was in major political trouble in terms of staying in power, and that he had the intel?
That is correct.
That she's right there, yep. There's corruption charges that are currently swirling around Netanyahu. And the only reason why he's trying to do everything possible to maintain his fucking war cabinet is to try to avoid the court case for as long as possible. This has been a thing since 2022. About 3 years. His dumbass was slated to be, going on to, I don't know, the jury, to court. He was about to go to court, like, quite literally. His ass was about to be fucking potentially grass, but then the election happened and he was able to narrowly win and build a fucking coalition, and so he was able to avoid his, like, court trial. Like, even not that long ago, before the Israeli-Iranian 12-day war, right, the attacks that Israel conducted against the Iranians, you want to know what happened? There was a vote in the Knesset that barely passed by 2 votes. And if that vote did not pass, you know what would have happened? Elections would have been triggered, and Netanyahu is very deeply unpopular right now with how he's currently treating the fucking... No, well, not because of how he's treating the Palestinians, but how he's treating the fucking hostages that are within Gaza. still bombing the shit out of them, doing everything possible to make it harder and harder and harder to be able to get a ceasefire negotiated. Because again, the main guy who's been getting in the way constantly of a ceasefire going on and happening within Israel Palestine right now is Netanyahu. He's the main guy who's the problem right now. He's the issue at the moment. And people are just like, okay, bro, like, we recognize this. Like, you just want to, like, murder Palestinians. Like, listen, like, we don't really have much of a problem about that. But can we just, like, get the fucking hostages out? Get a ceasefire so we can get them out. Like, fuck off, man. Like, seriously. And he is deeply, deeply unpopular as a result of this. So, if an election were to happen, it's over. It's, like, he's cooked. It's so bad for him that even, like, Donald Trump decided to talk about his, like, corruption charges that he most certainly has. So, you know, he wants to basically try to stay in power for as long as possible until the day he dies, so then he doesn't have to face the consequences of his corruption charges. That's really about it.
About the attacks,
That is
but he
correct.
allowed it because it would improve his stance politically
To stay in power.
to stay in power. And that tells me all I need to know.
And I think the whole Iran thing was a wag the dog away from the egregious genocide and human rights violations that are happening to Palestinians. And this is the part where
This isn't
I get
wrong.
mad at AIPAC because
Yeah, she's not wrong when she says this. I think that's, like, certainly another angle to examine the Israeli attacks on Iran. But it's more so because of that Knesset vote. That's the main reason.
they want to make everything a binary choice.
That's right.
That you have to support Israel. And here's
She's cooking. And she's what? One of the biggest fucking liberal podcasters? We even got the Pod Save boys. So let's see. What do we got here?
These just seem like they're nowhere close to any kind of ceasefire deal.
True?
Yeah, but look, I just think that this is because Israel doesn't want to end the war. And Netanyahu does not want to end the war, to be specific. Because if they were willing to end the war, they would get the hostages out. And
True.
And the idea that they somehow need to continue to fight a war against Hamas in Gaza, I'm sorry.
There's no security.
There's no security need to do it. It's a literal impossibility that October 7th or anything remotely approaching that, or anything really, in terms of a ground attack on Israelis could happen if the war ended tomorrow. Given the damage that's been done to Hamas, given how militarized that border is between Gaza and Israel. So there's no military necessity to carry out this war. Netanyahu's carrying out for his political purposes, and there are people in his coalition, including maybe Netanyahu himself, who want to...
Dude, this is, again, Pod Save America, dude. One of the fucking, like, biggest, like, sort of, liberal podcasts out there. And these guys have had literally every mainstream Democrat on their podcast. They've had Obama on there, Biden on there, Kamala Harris, all the fucking hits and the greats, okay? They've had them all on there. And they're breaking with the main Democratic line on Israel fucking Palestine. It's crazy. It's incredible. Oh, yeah, 1000% Boy Meets Minnie. Like, well, that's because, like, the only sort of, like, angle of operation that Destiny has, the only reason why Destiny hates Palestinians, even though he was pro-Palestinian before, is purely out of spite for the left. That's it. There's no ideological sort of basis for the things that Destiny, broadly speaking, believes in. He just says the things that he says out of spite. Like, that's it. For him, it's just personal beef with the broader fucking left. Because, again, Destiny's just mad that he wasn't able to monopolize all of Twitch politics around himself during 2019 when Hassan decided to basically go his own way, for lack of a better term. So you have to, like, gin up some, like, excuse and, like, conspiracy theory for us to, like, why he's actually, like, very spiteful and very, very mad with Hassan. It's really fucking stupid.
To carry out to just continue to punish and destroy the Palestinian people, if not ethnically cleanse them from Gaza, which is what a lot of people
Trump
say.
plan, yeah.
And that's what this is something Donald Trump says. It's something the ministers in the Israeli government say. The humanitarian
Trump Gaza,
situation,
number
without
one.
Overstating it, nothing has gotten in since
Zero.
mid-March.
Nothing.
Zero. We're talking no food, no medicine in a place where there already was no infrastructure left. They destroyed all the hospitals, they destroyed all the schools, destroyed basically all the buildings. And so
True.
we're just talking about a place in which an already traumatized, bombarded people, including a lot of injured people, like badly injured people, are being bombed in tents with no food and medicine.
Yeah, they do constant triple taps on, like, fucking refugee camps, which is illegal, right? They've gone after, what, refugee camps. They love going, like, after hospitals constantly, mosques, World Heritage sites. this has been a constant state of activity for, well, the Israelis. And how are they doing this? With a lot of fucking American weapons. I think it's about, like, what? 70% of American weapons that have been sent to Israel have been used to bomb Palestinians in Gaza. Very, very cool.
That's what's happening.
I was scrolling through Twitter yesterday, and I saw a video of kind of the after results of an airstrike, and there was a little girl sitting on the ground, and all of a sudden her head just started gushing blood like I've never seen anyone bleed in my life. And I realized I was watching the last moments of this little girl's life. And this is happening every single day.
And what makes that okay? What makes
Nothing.
that worth
It's
doing?
not.
Like, what? Like,
It's
don't
evil.
tell me that's what hostage is being brought home by that. You
No.
know, so there's
True.
a moral abomination that will be a stain on this country and on Israel for the rest of our lives.
A moral stain, a strategic disaster.
Yeah.
Everything about it is wrong and cruel.
You know, Boy Meets Mini, it's one of those things where it's just better fucking late than never. At least they have realized it now. Now, we can, I don't know, kind of guess and think about why they may be saying this now, right? I'm not sure what, like, Pod Save America's position was before, or, like, I've had it podcast before, position before, was on, like, Israel, Palestine. I don't remember. I'd have to, like, look, because she popped up during the DNC stream with Hassan, right, I think. I don't know if they talked about Gaza there at all. That's kind of irrelevant. I don't really give a shit about that, to be honest, right? They seem to be friendly with one another. She seems to be, like, you know, generally quite progressive. This woman in particular, I don't remember her name. I don't know her name. Okay, I'm really bad with names. I'm sorry. She seems to be, broadly speaking, like, actually, like, probably, like, some form of, like, liberal progressive. I don't know if she's talked about, like, Israel Palestine a lot before. Maybe she didn't engage as much with the topic beforehand because it's not her wheelhouse. You know, we can come up with, like, I don't know, 17 trillion different reasons for as to why she's saying the things that she's saying now. Whatever. What matters is she's come basically to the correct position now. Like, she's correct here. Like, a big problem is with the donors and shit like that. Yada, yada, yada. And Pod Save guys, their whole thing was that they just went with the fucking Democratic line. Constantly, right? And now it may be like, maybe not like the Democratic line. It's kind of difficult to say. Like, I don't know, if like probably what's most effective within polling. Maybe they saw the polling, they've seen the writing on the wall, and they're trying to make sure that, you know, they're able to appeal more to their audience as a result or something like that. Who really knows? All that matters is that they're at the correct position now. This is an opportunity, right? Like, again, I'm speculating if it's voter trends or whatever. Pure speculation. I think that this lady over here with the I've Had It podcast, I think she's probably more genuine. Whereas with the Pod Save guys, it's more than likely voter trend stuff. Probably. But I'm just guessing.
And it's indefensible. And just now that we're all furious about this again, it's worth highlighting this report on Channel 13 News in Israel about the Biden administration's handling of the war in Gaza, the policy generally.
Or maybe like they didn't talk about it much before because they didn't really know, like, or something. I don't know. It could be anything, dude.
So Channel 13 talked to a bunch of top former Biden people, like 9 administration officials. They talked to a bunch of the Netanyahu government. It's all in Hebrew, but a couple sites dropped site news again, and then the Times of Israel did write-ups of the main reporting. And it is both infuriating, not surprising, and confirms a lot of the assumptions we had from the very beginning about kind of what was happening behind the scenes. So one of the most damning quotes came from the Israeli ambassador to the U.S. at the time, who said that, quote, God did the state of Israel a favor that Biden was the president during this period. It could have been much worse. We fought in Gaza for over a year. And the administration never came to us and said, ceasefire now. It never did. And that's not to be taken for granted.
That is true. Like, Joe Biden never wanted a fucking cease. Oh, because Joe Biden is a fucking racist in of himself. Like, he is. He's a racist. He hates brown people, okay? Like, look at the fucking immigration policy. Kamala Harris was one of the first ones within the administration itself to call for a ceasefire. We all know, like, the speech that she had, I think it was in January of 2024, saying, like, there needs to be a fucking ceasefire. Right by, like, the Washington Monument. And she was, like, one of the few voices within the administration itself calling for a fucking ceasefire. But, like, that was always going to fall on deaf ears because, again, Joe Biden at that point still thought he was him. And he could do, like, anything possible and, like, maintain, like, some form of modicum of popularity. When, again, he basically let ego take over. He became, like, a sycophant. Only surrounded himself with fucking sycophants. Similar to Trump in that particular respect. And, well, we all know what fucking happened after that, right?
So he's obviously trying to give Joe Biden credit there, and in so doing, offering the most damning observation you could about the administration. A couple more things that jumped out at me, Ben.
True.
The administration reportedly debated having Biden give a speech that presented the Israeli people two paths in the hopes of forcing an election. One path was get a hostage deal, get a ceasefire, get a normalization agreement with the Saudis. The other path was what we're seeing now, endless war, diplomatic isolation. But ultimately, Biden just chickened out and didn't want to push Bibi politically, and instead did that speech where
Well, yeah, just like what's being said here by Ogre Boy. Hey, Hutch and ContraPoints, I thought there's nothing you could do politically. Wait, I thought there was nothing you could do, huh? What happened? You're telling me there's no, like, political solution to any of this stuff? Listen, Israel receives most of its, like, a lot of its fucking subsidization abilities and funding and armaments from the United States of America, and a ton of political protection from the United States of America. Constantly when the UN Security Council pushes for votes that would stop the fucking genocide, everyone votes in favor of that particular vote to stop the fucking genocide. You want to know who fucking uses their veto power every single time to veto that shit? Oh, it's the United States. Well. We love it when the functions of the United Nations are being used to, well, I guess protect fucking evil in this particular instance. So, very cool, very good. We love to see it, folks.
he laid out the framework for a ceasefire deal that I guess Netanyahu had told him he agreed to, but later walked away from. There was some stuff in the story about how Biden's team was particularly angry with Netanyahu when he released the frustration of these Biden staffers here because they're mad that Netanyahu lied about them. But it's also very telling that the biggest point of frustration was Biden not getting credit for
they're mad.
enough arms.
They're mad about that and not about the 2,000-pound bombs being dropped on the kids. We'll come back to that.
Yeah.
No, I can't believe that. Why are they surprised that Netanyahu would fucking lie to them? You people are surprised by that? Are you people fucking stupid? It's Benjamin Netanyahu. He's already a known figure. He lies all the fucking time. He lies as he fucking breathes. You guys were just shocked Pikachu facing that he lied. It's I can't believe that Netanyahu lied. No, I can't believe it. Oh, no. Get the hell out of here with this bullshit.
Yeah, so I just, that's a lot about the Saudi normalization deal. There's people admitting what was obvious all along, that Netanyahu was blocking a ceasefire for political purpose. So again, like I said at the top, this was obvious at the time. We talked about it at the time. Rereading it was absolutely enraging. It was a reminder all over again of what a total...
Oh, it looks like they've actually been consistent about this because, again, the evidence that of Netanyahu blocking the ceasefire deal, that came out months ago. That came out a very long time ago. So it seems like the PodSave guys have been quite consistent on this.
Total fucking disgrace the Biden administration's policy on Gaza was. The just unrequited, obsessive loyalty to Netanyahu blinded him to the carnage and total immorality of the policy and the U.S. complicity in that policy, and it's outrageous.
Yeah,
they're not wrong. They're just correct. But we can't do anything politically about it. Yeah, okay. Thank you, Hutch and Contra. Very, very cool. Can't do anything politically about it. Sure. Yeah. All I have to say is basically the overall point is it's getting bad for a particular issue within the Democratic Party when your main sort of media figures, influential podcast people are starting to say it's not the fucking goddamn problem with the Israelis, or the main problem is with the Israelis. It is a really, really bad look when, broadly speaking, your main sort of media not apparatchiks, but main media influencers, your podcast type people who would stump for you pretty much almost throughout anything. It's, let's be quite fucking honest here. It's a bad look when we also have shit like this. 60% sympathizing with the fucking Palestinians. This is not a winning issue anymore. To be supportive of the Israelis within the Democratic Party, it's a non-starter. It's over. It's done. The contradictions and internal sort of issues with fucking Zionism is starting to begin to collapse in on itself. And the question is are Democrats going to take the suicide fucking pledge with Israel or some shit? Or are they going to care more about, their fucking party to make sure that it doesn't completely collapse internally? Now, for a lot of the younger, more progressive Democrats, this isn't a fucking problem for them. They're going to be fine. The AOCs, the Squads of the world, and a bunch of other people who don't receive AIPAC money within the Democratic Party, they're fine. They'll be Gucci. They'll be liked. They'll be popular. you know, a lot of the people mentioned before here in the I've Had It podcast, those people are probably completely and utterly fucking cooked. Like your George Latimer types. It's over for him. So, again, broadly speaking, the overall point that I'm trying to say here is, you know, it's a really bad look to be sort of still stumping for the position of the oppressors of the fucking genocidal state of fucking Israel when they keep turning children into mulch, which they gleefully film constantly film that stuff. You know, it's a bad look when your sort of like main media defenders are coming out from the woodwork saying like, yeah, you guys need to like not do this. Like what Israel is doing is fucking abhorrent, right? Like, you know, it's a really fucking bad look when they're starting to sort of like bring up the more anti-Zionist sort of talking points, saying like this is unsustainable, it's politically non-viable, and it's just genuinely one of the fucking saddest things that I've started to fucking witness. And it's just like, yep, you know, took you guys long enough to get here, but you know, good that you were able to sort of eventually get here. So it's a good development to see overall. Glad to see that there has been a shifting of the tone. I don't know if tone is exactly the correct word I want to use here. Shifting of the sort of priorities of the Democrats, sort of like main media apparatchiks and like influencers, and the voters saying like, yeah, whoa, Israel is actually really fucking bad. So I think this is an overall very, very positive development in terms of, you know, bringing forward Palestinian emancipation, you know, yada yada, the fall of the state of Israel, blah 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 blah. You know, we could do the whole like LARP shit show meme fest, blah 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 blah. I think it's just a very 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 positive development to say. Well, I think it's already permeating through the party, Boy Meets Mini, right? I'm pretty sure if you were to go to someone in LA right now and you talk with them about Israel Palestine, this is the same story that Hassan has been saying. It's like, yeah, I just talk with like my normie friends about this, and they talk about just how abhorrent and sad it is, right? Because broadly speaking, people don't like genocide. This is a point that Vosh also brought up, which I agree with. It's a lot easier to be able to get away with stuff like the Holocaust within the 1930s, is broadly speaking, because that's not going to be as televised. It's a way easier to fucking hide that shit more and more than ever. It won't be broadcasted as easily to the public. We have smartphones. Everybody's got a fucking smartphone. So it is very, very easily, and social media, very, very easy to help, like, spread and just spread a bunch of like the abhorrent fucking actions that the Israeli government is doing within, well, Gaza, within Palestine, and generally speaking, and what they're doing to Palestinians. We all know this. There's mass media. It's way easier than ever to like record that stuff and to even read about this stuff, right? Like, again, like I said, your phone, gateway to a whole, well, new world basically. So yeah, it's a great thing that this is happening. It's a positive development in terms of the rights of Palestinians. That, again, one of the biggest constituencies with a lot of political power within one of the most powerful political parties ever in existence is starting to have significant shifts towards pro-Palestinian positions. So this is how it starts. I think it's been a thing that's been fermenting for quite a while now, when people realize that, oh, Netanyahu's just doing this for his own political purposes. He doesn't care about a ceasefire. He just wants to kill people. So, positive development. It's good to see. We love seeing this, folks. And hopefully more and more of it happens until, well, the Palestinians are able to see some form of reprieve from the ethnic cleansing that they are currently experiencing by the Israeli state. I think that's all I really got to say about that, to be honest.